Hello, welcome to Chick Chat and Chill. I'm Antoinette, one of your co hosts. I'm the owner of Pixel This, which is a full service design firm. So, whether you're creating a logo or wondering how to have a social media presence, your brand or your service, it has a story to tell, and we're going to make sure it's told and hits all the right people. So, before we begin on today's topic, I'm going to introduce Laura, my co host.
Hello, everybody. I'm Laura Fickett, owner of Fickett Financial Coaching, where we help people make more money, manage it better, and retain it to build their wealth. If you want a free consultation to talk to a financial coach, I'm a CPA, I have my MBA, and I can help you attain wealth in wherever you are. Level it up. That's what you need to do. And we're going to talk about a good topic today, which is spending less, saving more, and getting things that you want in that fashion. And so, it's a topic I kind of like because I like money. But one of the things I was actually just this morning talking to somebody about this. We were talking about jewelry, and she had said she liked the piece that I had on. And I was like, oh, thank you. And I said, it didn't actually, she's like, oh my gosh, it looks gorgeous. It must have been so expensive. And I'm like, it actually wasn't that expensive. I do a cost benefit analysis. So this is how I save money. I'm constantly thinking, how much benefit is this going to give me and how much does it cost? So if the cost is too high and the benefit is lower, then I'm not going to buy it. So this necklace that I have on, it's not diamond or anything like that, because then the cost would be high and the benefit I'm going to get from wearing the necklace, not enough. So the cost is under $100. I like it, makes me feel good when I wear it. I get compliments on it. The benefit is kind of high. And so when the benefit is higher than the cost, that's when I make the purchase. And so that has helped me save a lot of money by analyzing how much enjoyment am I going to get from this purchase doing this cost benefit analysis. Do you do anything like that, Antoinette?
I do to a certain extent because, like, I love, to me, like, my home is my sanctuary. And, obviously, as an artist, I like things visual. So, where some people might think things for the home is more, you know,
Fluff?
yeah. Uh, to me, I get thorough enjoy. I was actually trying to think of like another word, but then I've been having such
You have an
trouble.
accountant sitting next to you, can tell
But
you.
no, but it's one of those that like I know when I see things in my house that brings me such great joy, or when they have artistic expression and it makes me happy, and it's not a one-time thing. Like, to me, that's a cost benefit analysis. So somebody might love this really extravagant trip, hint hint, well, or trip or
She's
something.
talking about me. She does it
But
to my face, at
yeah.
least.
But but for me, I'm like, this is something, in a week it's going to be gone, where this I could enjoy it for years or whatever. So the point is that I kind of go through that, but you have to know what's important to you too. Like,
And you're probably thinking, wow, after she gets back from vacation, it's gone. She must have short-term memory loss. Yeah, exactly. No, it's not gone. Memories forever, Antoinette.
yeah, that summer takes a while to heal. No, but you know what I mean. Like, everybody has their thing. Like, you were bringing up how silly it is for chewing gum, and I'm like, I would totally spend $10 for chewing gum, or
Oh
a
my God,
computer.
never.
Like, that's my livelihood. I need the best Mac out there, and for you, you're like, what? Like,
No, the only Macintosh I want is in a pie crust, some sugar.
yeah. But I wouldn't say, like, even though I'm not a financial person by any means, I would not say that I'm a like one of those people that just throws money away left and right. Like, my and I don't know if it was maybe my upbringing. Like, my parents, they always had, roof over our head and stuff, but they were never really showy with money, where it's like, oh, we're, my dad drove a Cadillac, like, down the road, but in general, it wasn't something that they were really flamboyant with their finances. It was kind of, we had dinner every night. We didn't go to these like fancy restaurants unless it was a special occasion. Um,
That's an important topic, dinner.
yeah.
going out to dinner. So when I'm working with people on their budget, one of the places you can save is food.
Yeah.
Food is like out of control. I had this two people that I was working with, and their food, they didn't realize they were spending like over $3,000 a month in food.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and they're not big people, like normal, like it's not like they have to consume like these high calories because they're doing like deadlifting or something. I don't know, like those bodybuilders that need to take in like 10,000 calories. They're just normal, average people, but they didn't realize. And I don't do the numbers. I have them pull the numbers because I want them to know, like I want them to see how much are you spending. And they're like, oh my gosh, we can't possibly be spending that much. And they go through the numbers again. They go, yeah, wow, we are. And you don't realize because like it's just one trip to the store, then one trip to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or your coffee shop, and then, a couple times to go out to eat every single week. And before you know it, like you've plunked down like $700 in a week. And then by the end of the month, you're at $3,000. I tell people food, like just being conscious of how much you spend on food. And I am a foodie. I love food. Like I can't wait to go to Florence next year because I just can't wait to eat the food there. It's like one of the places that I've eaten the best food of my life. But like I really think that is probably people ask me like, what's the number one place that people overspend? And it's food.
Yeah.
And I eat really well. It's not like I don't, but I don't spend a lot on when I go into the grocery store, I have a number in my head. Like I don't want to spend more than $125 or I don't want to spend more than $150. And I'm usually like within $10 because I have a budget in my head. Or if we've gone out to an extravagant dinner, then I'm like, okay, we're going to eat in the rest of the week, and maybe next week we have like 2 eat outs but I'm conscious of how much I'm spending on food. And when you talk about like things not lasting, if I said to you, okay, what did you eat on March 2nd, 2025?
No idea.
No idea. Like, no clue what you ate on March
Actually,
2nd,
I
2025.
might because I eat like a lot of the same foods every day.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I could probably take a really good guess, but
She's like, well, I eat a raw egg. Then
and no vegetables.
No, but seriously, like, yes, it's
Yeah.
enjoyable, to eat, but it is not a lasting
No.
memory like a vacation or something that you're putting in your home and you're getting to see every day. The cost sometimes is not worth the benefit
Yeah.
of what you're getting. And sometimes the food that you're buying, I joked in one other podcast that this year I'm not buying anything that's in a box. So I walk around the supermarket and I'm like, nothing in a box, nothing in a box, nothing in a box. People think like I'm crazy. But I try to just stay the outside of the supermarket, nothing in a box. And some of the food you're buying, Oreo cookies, like people eat those still. And they're like $5 or $6 a package. Like you don't need those. Those
Yeah.
like empty calorie kind of stuff.
There-
So food is a huge way that you can save. And I mean, just saving $100 a month,
Yeah.
$1,200 a year, you can go on a cruise for that price.
And the one thing, like just on the food topic, I think to me this is the biggest waste. Is number one when you order something and half the like for me, like I love going to restaurants and stuff, but a lot of times like I'm not a dessert fan and I'm a bit like health conscious, so I would rather do something healthy than something I'm not going to enjoy. I'm going to have guilty feelings. And so you don't have to, like, you could still go to a restaurant and then just do healthy dessert elsewhere, like maybe get a smoothie somewhere or do it at home. Or to me, one of the biggest wastes with food that I see people do is they order in or out. Like to me, that doesn't make sense because I usually cook at home. I have no problem cooking at home. And I have no problem going out to a restaurant to eat. And then you have the ambience, you're being served, it's yummy. But when you're taking away the ambience and you're still paying the same money as eating out, but you're sitting at, like, to me, that doesn't have any benefit and all the cost.
But I can eat in my pajamas the food from the restaurant. So
No, but like
that's what
like,
takeout is for, is I can stay in my pajamas.
No, but I'm saying like in that's a really easy way that if you just planned ahead, like always have something in your fridge or freezer that in those situations you're not like, oh my God, I have to call. Like I was running late from work and I have nothing in my fridge. So,
I do have quick meals. You're right. Like
Yeah.
quick meals, like
Like-
a bag of raviolis, which like, oh my gosh, like my ancestors are not happy with this conversation right now. But you know, something quick.
Like I'm carnivore, so I just like I could eat, eggs or what do you call it? Like sausage at any meal of the day pretty easily. So
Okay.
and
Well,
throw in like some avocados there and I'm a happy
egg,
gal.
sausage, and avocados.
Yes. Not together,
I'm-
but
I,
yeah.
I think this is not the way I'm going to be saving money. But but speaking of like having something in your fridge, don't put it in those drawers. I don't know what the deal is, like the magical land that you put stuff in there and then it disappears for like 3 weeks until it spoils and grows stuff. Like, be
And then
careful. That's a huge, those 2 drawers in the bottom of the refrigerator are like a waste. I have
Yeah.
had so much food waste from those 2. It's crazy. Like, and I can see through them. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what my problem is there.
yeah.
But food, huge way to save money. And even if you're saving a little bit, trust me, a little bit adds up. If you save a little bit on food and you save a little bit on electricity, you save a little bit on this and a little bit on that, and you put it all together, it adds up to big stuff.
Yeah.
But when you do save, here's the thing I tell people, if you don't tell your money where to go, you're going to always wonder where it went. So when you do save, you have to divert the money somewhere else. So like if I'm going to save $100 by not going out to eat 2 times a month, I need to buy like $100 worth of stock, or I need to divert the money somewhere else, or else it ends up falling into this like black hole abyss, which is like your personal finances. It's
Well,
true.
I think another thing that if I had to pick like a second topic, and you could correct me, but if I had to pick a big topic where a lot of people waste money, I would say subscriptions.
Mm-hmm.
So I
It's
think
true.
a lot of people, they'll sign up. They're like, oh my God, this is great, or whatever. You buy a car and you get free, Sirius. And then it'll just start paying, next thing you know, you're in a service and then you're barely listening to it. And then they raise the price. And next thing you're paying like $50 a month. And you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what? So,
Gym memberships.
yeah,
You know who you are. You know you're not working
me.
out. You know you're not going to the gym. Cancel
No,
it.
but I had actually for many years I have 3 gym memberships. So I literally belong to 3 different gyms. And I had reasons for that, but it's ridiculously wasteful.
She's
But
like, well, sometimes they would shame me at the first one because I wasn't there. So I would go to the second. No, but you know what I do? Like sometimes you want to try something and the only way to try it is to sign up for the subscription,
free
right?
trial
So I
too.
put in my phone. So like say it's, May 1st and I have a 30-day free trial. I put in my phone on May 29th, May 30th, check, do I still want this subscription to XYZ? If not, cancel. Because days go into weeks, weeks go into months, months go into years. And then before you know it, you've been paying for a subscription for a year that you're not using and you just forgot to cancel. And so that is a huge way to save money, is make sure you keep track of those free ones and cancel them if you don't want them. But people, there's apps that you can put on your phone that go through your subscriptions. There's all kinds of ways, but subscriptions, huge. That's the reason why you see so many, because it's a huge money making like scheme.
Yeah.
Really, like I think, oh, a subscription box would be so cool, but then I really think the cost benefit analysis, like here's the cost and the benefit is more junk in my house that I don't need, so
Yeah.
not gonna work out.
Yeah.
But no, people have multiple gym memberships because they just didn't want to cancel. It's only $9.99. I don't want to cancel it. Like, what if I need it? Well, then you can, trust me,
Rejoin.
they will let you rejoin. They will. They may not let you rejoin for 30 days or something like that. Everyone, every place has their own stuff, but they will let you rejoin. They're not going to be like, no, we no longer want your money. You just stay away from us.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to happen. But yes, subscriptions, huge way to save money. And so food, subscriptions. What else do you got on the dock? I've got like so many in my pocket.
I have. I like being quizzed. But
So
hopefully
cute.
I'll pass. But another thing I have is like anytime something comes due, whether my car insurance bill is coming due or my home insurance, I always price it out, because that's when they bring in their they raise their rates or whatever, and it might be that my insurance is actually the best deal I'm going to get, but I don't know that unless I call some other companies. So that's something that I usually
Price it out.
I price it out. And not only that, but like I have a lot of friends that are in those industries.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I'm with somebody that has a great rate, it's nice to let your friends know, like, hey, price it out for me. And they'll be the first ones to go, you know, you have a great deal where you are, but thanks for thinking of me.
And
And
all
it's,
insurance agents
yeah,
that way. Even if you don't have any friends that are
yeah,
insurance agents, they are all super duper helpful, willing to price it out with their carriers. They might have different carriers than the person that you're with,
yeah.
and that carrier would be cheaper. But yeah, pricing it out, that's a good one too. Look
And
at you,
then,
you got all these good
well,
ones.
and I kind of see that in that same, there are certain things like cable. I feel like you almost have to threaten to
Cancel.
cancel every so often because they get ridiculous. And always have like a backup in mind that you could do that. But they have people that, it's not like, oh, you want to cancel? Okay. Then they send you to this one. And then it's the hard sell with somebody else. And you'll almost always get your rates down. So that I think is a big thing. And then I think a lot of people make the mistake too, like around here, they just put in a new internet service. I don't know if they did it, but where I live, in the town where I live, they're ripping up the streets, they're putting this whole internet, and they're like, now you got competition with cable and all this stuff, but all they have is internet. They
Hmm.
don't have cable and they don't have phone. So for example, if you're doing like the triple play and you cancel, then all of a sudden you're going to get screwed, or you know what I mean? Like, I mean, at least make sure before you do something that is apples to apples, because a lot of times, not all companies, but sometimes when you do switch, there's an initiation fee or a non-refundable one-time charge.
Or
So
termination
yeah,
fee,
a
yeah.
termination fee. So if you're going to do those things, make sure you know what those fees are, because it might not look good as just the top level headline. Look at the fine print in those for sure.
I'm going to say it again though. If you do switch, like say you were paying $65 a month and now you're paying $50 a month, you need to divert the $15 somewhere else. You need to, because a lot of people are like, I'm so good about shopping this on. I'm so good about cutting my expenses and whatever, but I don't know where the money goes. You need to divert it somewhere else. You need to buy assets, invest it towards the future, that kind of stuff. If you're going to save money, I always think of three things: past, debt, present, enjoyment, and future. And so if you're going to save money in the present, you need to put it into the future or pay down some debt. You can use it to pay down debt too. If you save $15 on your cable, you can pay down, whatever debt you have, if you have some,
Actually,
which most
that
people
made me
do.
think of another one. I'm so excited. But another thing I think a lot of people is when you're going to a store and they're like, oh, if you open our credit card, you could get, 24 months interest-free financing,
Mm-hmm.
which a lot of people, this is twofold. They'll decline it like, I don't need that. Silly, take it, like
Free
if
money.
it's free money, it's interest-free money, you could be using that money elsewhere much better. But what a lot of people don't understand too is that they'll price shop like, oh, I'll take 2 weeks and I could save $10 on this thing. But they don't realize if you don't pay it off within
Oh,
that 24 or 6 month or whatever your period is, you might end up paying like double to triple
oh
of what
yeah.
you just price shop to save $10 for. So make sure that thing is paid off before that, you know, it do another reminder on your phone or whatever. But that's a great place to take those extra dollars that you're saving,
Mm.
pay down those things that have you know, a a big
Expiring
nut
rate.
coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of shopping, so I almost never, ever, ever buy something online unless I have a promo, like a promo coupon. There's apps that you can put on your computer that will search the internet for coupons for you. So say you're checking out of you want to buy something and you go to checkout and it says promo code. My app will pop up and it will say I have honey and I have a couple others, but it'll pop up and say it'll run through like 15 codes, and then it'll be like, well, you just saved an extra $30. And I'm like, thank you so much, that was fantastic. Like, you saved me time and money. I love it. So if you're checking out and you see that word like promo code and you haven't put something in there, chances are that there is one out there. I would say 9 times out of 10, and you could be saving money through shopping, which brings me to my next point about shopping. Some of the things, if you look around your environment, your home, your apartment, whatever, some of the things you purchased And my son just said this to me, Mom, do you ever look around the house and like add up literally everything in here and think like, oh my gosh, like I've spent so much money. And I didn't until he said that. But now now I have spent a lot of time making that money to
He
buy
is
all this
clearly
stuff.
your child.
Yes. Clearly, at 22 years old, these are the thoughts that run through his head. And good for him. He's so smart. But it's true. Like, think of the things that you purchased and you were like so excited to purchase them, but it waxed or waned within like a week's worth of time. And so that's why procrastinating on purchases, I mean, if it's a really great deal and it's something you've been coveting and saving for and all kinds, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the things that you're just, oh, I need this. If you procrastinate a week, you might not need it anymore.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to put things in your cart and just let them sit there and come off of your like shopping high or your shopping emotion. It can be like therapeutic to go shopping, but not spending. Separate the shopping from spending. Also, they might email you and say, we noticed that you left these things in your cart and we'd like to offer you 10% off to purchase them right now. So
Yeah.
as an added benefit, a week later when you're like, yeah, okay, I do want them, you might be getting them cheaper too. So procrastination in purchases, sometimes, you feel, I don't know, you feel empty inside. And I turn to the Bible, and we've talked about that before. And I'm actually looking at like a little Jesus right now. That's right next to the camera, because that's how I'd like fill myself up with goodness. And we had a whole podcast on like filling your brain with good food. But sometimes, shopping, when I was younger, it might have been ice cream or something like that. Like you just want something, you just don't feel great. And so you go and shop. But you can shop, just don't spend.
Yeah.
And procrastinate on the spending. And usually when I procrastinate, a better deal comes up. I realize I don't need it, or a better product comes up or something, because I've actually taken the time to just calm down and then evaluate whether I want the purchase. So I think like if Amazon is coming to your house every single day and they've invited you to their wedding, like and stuff like that, I feel like
But I love their son Billy. No.
I feel like maybe you need to chill a little bit,
Yeah.
do a little bit of shopping and not spending,
Yeah.
and save some money that way.
No, I will admit I did have a big shopping. I didn't realize that it was a problem,
Mm.
but I had like used to go out to like had a date night every Friday, and then afterwards a lot of times we'd go shopping. And then it just became like once a week. It was like, okay, you get clothes and clothes, and like nobody needs more clothes or more shoes than me yet. Um, I cannot stop finding just the cutest thing I absolutely have to get. And I have this habit where I'll put in my closet, and there's something really satisfying of the morning when you're getting ready and you cut off the new tags and it's like, it is a new shirt. And then it's really on the flip side when you're organizing and you're like, okay, why are there 50 tags in my, so I've bought these things, never worn them,
Oh my
probably
goodness.
never will. um that I'm like, this is problematic. But on the flip side, I had I kind of talked briefly, but I had a big medical thing where I was given 2 weeks to live, and I didn't have money coming in, and I was really, really low on funds.
It wasn't 2 weeks ago, just so
No,
everybody
no,
knows.
no,
It's a while
It's,
ago.
it's like
she's
if my
fine with
alarm
it.
goes off, but
People are like, oh my gosh, this podcast is only going to be going for 2 more weeks.
But no, so I was in a really, really bad state economically. Like I had no money. I had like food stamps. I was in a financial mess. And I never really used to think about like spending. If it was like, oh, I use this brand or I use this, I would just buy it because I was making good money all along. And then with this health, when you have no money coming in, I had $60 a month to eat the entire month,
Mm.
which it's tough, but it really got me looking at what I'm buying. And a lot of people, when they purchase like regular stuff, they don't even know like, oh, I like this brand. For all you know, the brand you like might be 5 times the price
Yeah, it's true.
of another brand that might be, you might even like better. But, one thing that I do is, like Publix, which is a popular store by us, a lot of times they have a, buy one, get one free.
Mm-hmm.
So I might pick up a brand that I normally wouldn't get, but I'm like, hey, buy one, get one free. And some have been duds, but some I'm like, oh, I actually do like this. And then I'm more cognizant of, oh, and that's actually cheaper than my other brand. But it's an easy way that, you could save lots of money. And if you buy those things, and to me, like gas is a big one. Like I'm a big believer of, like, it's nice to use a credit card and stuff like that. Like I just do that. But like I have this one gas station that if you pay debit or cash, you save 30 to 40 cents a gallon.
Mm.
Like that's worth going there. And again, like every week I'm filling my car with gas. So look at those things you use all the time. And even like 40 cents every time you fill up, that adds up. That definitely adds
One of
up.
the funny things you said is I used to go out to eat and then I would go shopping for clothes and I thought, oh, Antoinette, this is when you could have gotten takeout and you would have saved all that shopping
Where
money.
was my financial coach when I needed? I didn't know her yet.
Antoinette, you missed the boat. You missed the
I
boat.
did. I did. I was too busy fighting for my life.
Years ago. Jeez, get over it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but she's right when she talks about clothes. I mean, most people wear the same things over and over again, and it's nice to like, shop out your wardrobe every now and then. But here's a saving tip for you. So I have a budget. Obviously, I have a budget, and that's what I spend, all my money on during the month of the things I need to have. But say I want to buy a new pair of shoes or a pair of boots or something like that, then I put it on a list, and I have to generate the extra money to buy that thing. It's like I'm playing Monopoly for real over here. Like I'm playing a game, right? So if you want to go shopping and you're like, I don't like my clothes anymore. First of all, if you're a female, there are times in the month where I don't like any of my clothes and I just have to wait a couple days and then I'm fine. And the guy's like, I knew that was true. Just be quiet. So anyway, but if I'm like, you know what, I really do want to update like some of the new styles and whatever, then I will say, okay, I need to figure out, like I call it magic money. I need to figure out how to generate some magic money to do this shopping so it doesn't affect my budget or my bills. So hope we got to wrap things up here. I know time goes by so fast, but you can be with us again next week. Next week we are going to be talking about how to homemade actually make stuff. So whether it's food or some things that you need around the home, we're going to talk to you about maybe it's better to make things at home and more enjoyable and less toxic.
Yes.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully you come back and you tune in for that one. And until then, I'm Laura, and I want to tell you, never stop learning.
And never stop laughing. We'll see you next week.